What is up, Hammerheads? Welcome back to the Forge. Today, we're honing our skills. Stay tuned. Alright guys, in this episode of honing our skills, I'm calling it use what you have and make it work for you. In a safe way. I'm going to go ahead and just throw out in a safe way, so if somebody loses a finger, it's not my fault. If it doesn't seem safe, don't do it. Rethink your plan, okay? And not everything on TikTok or YouTube Shorts is safe. I've critiqued a lot of things and heard a lot of other mechanically minded people go, yeah, don't do that, you'll get hurt. So, it's use what you have and make it work for you safely. And I'm going to use as my illustration my bandsaw, because as anybody that's followed my channel over the last year and a half, I don't have the money to go buy a $2,000 or $3,000 piece of equipment. I do have the money to go buy a Harbor Freight portable bandsaw. Luckily, I was able to find the one that has the wider body, where you're able to put a bigger piece of steel through it than the shorter one that they have. But get whatever you can get. And I had to modify it for my use. Luckily, I already knew how to do some of the stuff from a YouTuber that I follow named Jimmy DiResta. And some stuff that he did in his earlier videos, I happened to see, and I was like, oh, I see how he has that clamped in a vise and how that works. So I grabbed that idea, and I've modified it over the years. So I'm going to show you my bandsaw, and I'm going to talk about that and just kind of show you how my setup is. And then we're going to get into more talking about thinking outside the box. All right, guys, so this is my bandsaw. It is a Harbor Freight branded portable bandsaw. It's nothing fancy, but it cuts very well. Now, it does have a speed adjuster on the side. I don't remember what mine's set at, but adjust it accordingly to whatever it is you're cutting. I made the porch out of a piece of aluminum, scrap aluminum that I had lying around here. I cut it, and then I lined up the holes and countersunk where this original guide was. And I use, let's see, bring you in here. This blade guide I have now modified to be my stop for whenever I'm having to cut the same piece over and over again for production work. Like, it was set up here for whenever I was cutting dice, and I cut my dice at 1/2 inch. So I ran everything, and I didn't have to sit there with a measure every time or make marks. I just knew I stopped there and I ran it through, and it got me pretty much where I needed it to be. I might have to clean one or two of them up, but it's pretty well accurate. I also, and this is the main thing, I have it clamped in my vise right here. And this is just a woodworker's vise that I had lying around, and I clamped the bandsaw in it, and then I use this quick clamp to hold the trigger down. Now, I am going to upgrade and get a foot control to do all of this, so whenever I hit the button, it's ready to go, and then when I let go of it, I'm not having to reach around and undo clamps. But see, I'm constantly modifying and constantly thinking outside the box to make it better. Because one day, yes, I'll be able to afford a $2,000 bandsaw, but right now, this little thing is a workhorse. I use it every day. And you've got to slow down and go, all right, how can I make this work for me safely to where I can do the project better, faster, and more efficient? So guys, I really want you to slow down and start thinking outside the box. And it's kind of hard to do unless you're, I hate saying, I'm pretty good at it. And you have to have a really good imagination to be able to see what the finished project will look like. I've had it said to me at many jobs and many places that I've worked. They're like, man, you're like MacGyver from the TV show back in the 80s. And I think in the newer one, I don't know when the newer 2000s when the new one came out. But I can look at a problem and I look at a situation and I go, well, if we do this, we can do this and it'll fix it, or put this on there, or this is how we can build this, or this is how I can make it work. You need to start honing your mind and honing your skills. When you look at something, break it down and really use your imagination to say, okay, I have this bandsaw, or I have this grinder, or I have this tool. How can I turn it into something else? How can I make it work for me? How can I modify it safely to make it work better for me? Like these side cutters that I have here, and I'll be doing a video on this pretty soon. I turned a pair into a pair of scrolling tongs. And I might have showed this in a past video, I can't remember. But I took something that barely opens, because these didn't open well either. They were rusted about shut. And I modified them to make a pair of scrolling pliers. And I looked at it and said, that will work for what I need. All right, now how do I make it work? What do I have to do to it? What do I need to do to modify it? And guys, that's what I wanted to point out today, is I wanted you to just, sorry about that. I wanted you to look at what you have, because sometimes you can't go out and buy the tool. You know, it might not even be available for sale, or it might be very expensive. So what is it that you have that you can either purchase and modify or make to be able to get that project done faster or better? But guys, I want to do just a quick video talking about thinking outside the box, because a lot of times people give up very fast because they're like, oh, I can't go buy the expensive tools, or I don't have all of this or have all that. When really, if you just have a few things, you can make some amazing stuff. And you can modify some things like the bandsaw and make it to where your production is a lot faster. So guys, I just wanted to throw this out here just to give you the ideas, and just wanted you to slow down for a minute and think outside the box. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you on the next one. God bless, and keep hammering.